So tell us then, give us the Cutter Consulting Group elevator pitch. Give us the pitch. Go for it.
So most companies are started and run by somebody who has a product or service they believe in, they want to sell, but they're not good at selling it or creating systems and processes. And the challenge is that sales teams need those things to perform effectively. The other trend that I see a lot is that unfortunately people sit in the sales seat, but I would label them more like order takers because they don't have the skills. They're afraid of being that bad manipulator. And so they end up doing nothing and they don't perform well. And then sales teams really struggle and sales reps struggle. So I come in and help companies assess the whole situation holistically. And then we look at everything that we can improve, from scripting to training to coaching to technology to lead generation, in order to help the team optimize their selling effectiveness and scale to whatever level they want.
I see. That first part. So do you target startups and early stage and small to medium-sized companies? Is that your target?
I do. Yeah. That's who tends to be most of my clients. It's a lot of times founders who are really good at selling it themselves. They hired some sales reps and they don't understand why everyone else can't sell it as well as them. But they're not building scripts. They're not building systems. They're not listening to phone calls. They're just thinking everyone should be excited because it's their baby, right? Nobody else loves your baby as much as you do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I totally agree. You're right. Most of the startups, they built something, they made something, they had an idea, they're good visionaries, whatever, the CEOs, the original founders. And then, it starts to kind of, I don't know, fall into neutral because there's no real sales force there. And they're not big enough to hire $250,000 a year, big time sales VP. And so
Right.
that's where Jason comes in.
Yeah, and that's where most of my clients have been in the last year, has been, and I describe it as companies where there's a hole in the org chart, right?
Yep.
That's missing that director of sales or that VP of sales. Either they haven't gotten to that point and they can't justify it, or they've tried and then they've, regressed and they've gone up and down. They've hired a bunch of salespeople. It hasn't worked out. They've hired, they've fired, they've hired, they fired. And so I can come in as that fractional VP of sales, put the systems in place, help them scale, help them hire, make everything so that someone else can take the keys to that. Usually then what happens is I help them hire that person to come in and do it. And then, take the reins and run with it.
Okay. So you're not a hired gun, so to speak. You're not going to come in and do all the sales, but you'll help them set up the processes and the platform and get the right people and all of those things. Is that accurate?
It depends. Like, I've also done the sales. I mean, I've had clients who, they're doing trade show strategies. So I'm literally going with them to trade shows back when that was legal. In the booth, helping the reps learn how to sell from the booth appropriately, and then also doing sales myself, like literally closing deals, grabbing credit cards, making things happen on my own, partly just because I think it's fun, and partially to show the others, like, here's how it's done.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.